Right, I will go to my good point now. And my good point is a simple one. And I actually, I could say this on the show. It's Ninjas in Pyjamas' new roster. If people don't know, look, there's a side point which might get referred to in another point. We'll see. Depends what people want to bring up. And definitely will be on the podcast, which is this team this is where I want people to give credit to NiP, the org. Because, I've told you in the past, actually last year, I had a call with the guy, Eric Wendell, who took over Jonas Gunnarsson's job. And basically, he talked to me and he fully admitted all the problems with Jonas Gunnarsson, that a lot of that came from him directly, that it was all gone and that they were going to move on to a new era, and they were actually going to empower Threat and Exist, so the GM and the coach, and they would pick the players. Before, if you don't know, Jonas Gunnarsson was doing it like American sports. He would sign the players, and so the famous story goes, they asked for Brolan, and he gave them S tag. That's like one of the joke stories, but it's real. That's like a real story that happened. So now, when they sign people, it's actually because Threat and Exist have signed off that player has talent and he can be in our org. And even though the last lineup was a bit scuffed, it was all worth it to get Wrinkle and keep him, by the way. That guy already would probably be in one of these CIS mixes or on some much better team. By the way, again, if you could now have signed him to a team, look at something, you'd have snapped their hand off. Like, that's a play you take. So I already thought that was a clear player to build around. So I then understand why you then pivot away from the Swedish angle and go, right, we'll be international org too. Because you think to yourself, if you have a piece like that, here's the first thing I'm thinking of, Maui. Give me an experienced in-game leader who works with lesser talents and then makes them top 20 stars. That's literally Snappy's whole MO, guys. His whole MO. He's the reason you ever thought Yugi was fucking good. I don't know if you guys are aware of that. Like, he is the reason why Spinks became a world star. By the way, Spinks went from there to one of the best teams in the world and was like nothing for 3 months. Snappy is fucking legit, mate. He is the guy who took Nerds and, by the way, it helped like make him one of the best like fucking aggressive riflers in the world. Again, he had like a little transition period going to Heroic. So I just think this guy, Snappy, is really good working around like one or two big star talents. So I think Wrinkle will be mega. Then you look at the rest of the squad. I think it's actually genius the way they put this squad together, because what they've done is they've gone on the angle that, wait there 1 second. They've gone on the angle that Snappy's smarter experience. They've got Shush, who, look, is never going to be a big fragger. That was actually a weird thing that happened in like October where he just like fragged out for some bizarre reason. That's not his game. His game is to be like the poor man Zipniks and take all the shit rolls from you and never complain and enjoy doing them and try and grind out a 0.01 extra value out of that roll. Well, if you have him and Snappy, you've got a base set. Then you have Wrinkles, your star AWPer. And then to bring in the two best fraggers from the fucking Saw project, these were the two that looked legit, guys. These were the two that you would gamble on. And this is why it's genius, because if they didn't work out in this team for whatever reason, they're the two easiest positions in Counter-Strike to replace right now. Just like good, skilled riflers who don't have to be like the superstar and don't have to be like, some special connections. You could easily replace those two and keep the rest of the core. So I actually think they've got a sleeper core. And I'll just throw this in there. Another reason I'm going to say like good for NiP, the org, is because actually this is a massive gamble as a squad. Not because of Snappy, but because to do this, they've actually not done what every other org cynically did to avoid the VRS problems, which is sign a core. They didn't just go and go, oh, right, fuck, we're NiP, so not many people want to join. Sign like a team that was having like, 28th in the world at one point in time and they had some points. Get that roster. Yeah, obviously it's not what we want. Like, it's not going to win the major, but fuck it, wait after the first season, then we'll change one. They haven't done that. They've actually gambled for real that this is going to be a LAN roster and that they're going to like win a CCT or they're going to get through like those fucking online qualifier things and they're going to get to a LAN and then they're going to show us they're actually legit. So this is the opposite of what people think before. I actually think this is one that is good in the short term, but actually has a runway. Like I say, I could even see easy ways you just upgrade this team too, mate. But if you keep those pieces, there's a world where in a year or two from now, I don't know who else is here, but as long as at least Snappy and Wrinkle here, this could actually be like a top 10 team. I'm not even trolling. I actually think you can get to that. I don't know if this lineup right now can be, but I actually think there's real potential. I think the firepower's not even a joke. So props to both sides. I think the roster's good. I like the NiP, the org angle, despite a lot of people complain they're not Swedish or whatever, They weren't Swedish before, guys. They just happened to have some Swedish players that then didn't frag people. I don't know what you want at that point. What do you think, Gomez? What did you think of this one, mate?
Yeah, I mean, NiP for a long time have like spent some big money. Like when you think about when they got devised, they've gone through all these different iterations of rosters and ESOTAG, in, out sort of thing. So it's cool to see them building, like you said, building the correct pieces first and just sort of stocking it, with the riflers, which is the best way to do it, I think, as well. I'm just a bit worried about are they on the clock? I don't know how long Wrinkle signed a contract, but it can't be forever.
Sure.
He's already been there, I think, for at least a year, longer, 2 years. And Snappy's obviously getting older, so it's like when
Okay,
it
that's
gets to
valid.
that point and these new players have finally developed, are they going to have to actually start again because of, age, or will Wrinkle just get the mega, big market offer and, return to a different team or maybe a Na'Vi, like he could go anywhere. So I just hope it works out, but I just think maybe they've started a little bit too late. I wish they had done it a year ago or 2 years ago when they could have.
Yeah, they're having to compete in CCT close qualifiers right now, which is always a crazy uphill battle. But I also want to know, if they do find success, is NiP really serious about contending? Are they going to just let Wrinkle be poached? Are they going to let Shush get poached? Are they going to, or are they actually going to stand their ground and demand so much that they're not going to sell so they can keep the roster together, or just like, do they actually have championship aspirations? Because I think the roster's good. I mean, that I've talked about it before, I've probably tweeted about it at this point. It's like, okay, they have actually made us rethink that threat quote that they might be ready to compete in 2025. So yeah, kind of wait and see on that one, but let's just see if they hold their ground on their players.
See more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, be a pleb and don't.